Now, content mills gave me my start back in 2012. And since then, I've made tens of thousands of dollars using those websites. Most of the time, I was making money on TextBroker. Now, although it is possible to earn a full-time income with content mills, it takes an extreme amount of work. Now, although I am a big fan of content mills, especially for new writers, there's nothing that compares to being able to collect your own private clients. I'm Mike with WriterSanctuary, and today we're going to go over a few ways of moving past the content mill to make more money as a writer in 2021. Now, before we get started, if you can hit the like button, help the channel out, and for more videos regarding freelance writing, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can always hit me up on social media on Twitter and Facebook, or use the contact form on WriterSanctuary.com's website. So the first step you should take to move past content mills to get your own private freelance writing clients is to set up a profile on LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is kind of like Facebook, but for professionals. You'll find a lot of different people looking for work and a lot of people hiring for work. In fact, I wouldn't have the client today if it wasn't for chatting on LinkedIn. Now, as a writer, I've seen a lot of people use their name and then add for hire or looking for work at the end of it. Nowadays, LinkedIn added the open to button here. If you click on it, you can either go for promoting that you're hiring for work or that you're looking for work. This lets businesses and other professionals know that you're looking to be a freelance writer. And setting up your freelance writing profile on LinkedIn doesn't cost you a single dime. It's free and it can open up all kinds of doors that you probably didn't even realize were there. And like I said, if it wasn't for LinkedIn, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Think of it kind of like your online resume. Just make sure that you don't put in too much personal information. Now, you want to list your experiences, but you don't want to like add in phone numbers or manager names, stuff like that. You would want to wait for an actual query from a business before you hand over that kind of information, especially in a world where everybody's trying to take everybody else's identity. But you can put down all the different jobs that you had in the past, and I've actually listed all of my blogs and a lot of the work that I did before freelance writing, so it is kind of like my online resume. Now, the next thing you want to do is set up a professional blog with a contact form. This is so that businesses and clients can get in touch with you if they have work that they want you to write. Now, technically, I have two. I've got WriterSanctuary and michaelbrockbank.com. Both of them have contact forms for a variety of different reasons. Well, recently, most people have been using it to get in contact with me for sponsored posts on my website, which is fine because I charge quite a bit for those. And if anybody has any brand deals, it's easy to get in touch with me. Not that I have any brand deals at the moment. Well, aside from those questionable ones where they want me to sell shoes and I've only posted one picture on Instagram. Yeah, shoes has nothing to do with writing. Now, if you get your blog set up, it doesn't hurt to write just about anywhere you can find. I not only have my 5 blogs, but I've got content out there all over the place. So when I Google my name as a writer, I can see that I've got Writer Sanctuary, my obviously my homepage, and then I've got Instagram, Green Geeks, Constant Content, LinkedIn, Facebook, Buy Me Coffee, Pinterest. And if you go to page 2, I'm also on Twitter, Vocal Media, Hub Pages, Medium, Colorado Plays, and Crossing Colorado. Now, the rest of these I've never heard of. Oh, Tough Nickel, that's my article. Amazon, not so much, but I think that's about all of them. Yeah, definitely not a missionary. Don't have any books published yet, so at any rate, you can see the value of being able to diversify yourself. Granted, I don't have a lot of content on Vocal, Hub Pages, or Medium at the moment, but it is pretty cool that it pops up in a Google search. And it lets clients get a little bit more of a taste of what I can do. And because of all these different platforms, I can show that I can write in just about any niche. I guess it really depends on the topic. Another thing you can do to move past content mills is to use job boards. So sites like Indeed and 247talent.com are full of freelance writing jobs. The point is that Indeed and 24/7 Talent are rich with writing jobs, whether they're remote or on location. Unfortunately, 24/7 Talent isn't available in every city. But keep in mind that most of these job boards like Indeed and 24/7 Talent are requiring at least a bachelor's degree in some kind of field and some experience as a writer, which is why I often suggest people start off with content mills just so they can learn how to write in AP style and learn how to deal with other types of clients. Because that's one thing you'll run into a lot of on sites like TextBroker is the difference in articles that people want you to write and the extremes on both sides for clients. Because you'll get clients that are just simply amazing to work with. They're easy articles. They just say, here's a keyword, write me an article. Then you have clients who are a bit on the anal side and give you 6 pages worth of requirements that they want you to write. Normally I turn those down because it's not really worth my time to invest all that energy into a 500-word post if it's going to take me an hour and a half to read through your instructions. Moving on. Now, aside from job boards, you can also use job aggregators like Jubal. Now, what a job aggregator does is it goes through and tries to find as much work as humanly possible for just about anything that's open. So they are one of the largest databases of open jobs. Unfortunately, they don't always update regularly. So the jobs that you find down here may not even exist anymore. And sometimes an aggregator will pull jobs from other aggregators. So it creates this big long list of different types of content or different types of jobs that you can do. However, I have come across quite a few clients in sites like Jubal, and a lot of them here in Denver especially, it looks like they're coming from like Robert Half as a temp service. Now, a lot of these are going to require things like a bachelor's degree, so sometimes you can get away with not needing a bachelor's degree. It really depends on the client because the job I have now should have needed a bachelor's degree, but by the time I got hired, I had 5 years of creating content for clients, and I've got thousands of articles under my belt, so I was able to skip the requirement for a bachelor's degree. But not every client's going to be that lenient. Next, you want to start reaching out to brands that you want to write for. Sometimes some of your favorite companies will have careers on their websites where they're looking for writers and specifically. But if they don't, there's nothing wrong with sending out a cold email asking if you could write for them. Now, normally I don't do a lot of cold emails, but if you are into that kind of thing, Megan Grant has some amazing videos online. And if you want to learn more about cold emails, you can always click on the link over here. But no matter how you slice it, it's always good to have some sample articles ready. Now, normally the sample articles I have aren't published anywhere else on the internet. And all three of them are of a different style, like there'll be a blog post, a product description, or a layout for a news piece. And lastly, there's nothing wrong with going through a Google search. In fact, I've come across a lot of writing jobs just by searching content writer for hire in Google. The problem with that is that it's also going to show you all of these job aggregators, Indeed, job boards, and content mills that are looking to hire you. And you want to be careful with some of those because there's been a few content mills that are quite sketchy. Like I'll never work for Upwork. That's more out of spite. The point is that if you do take to Google, just be careful of what you sign up for. And it does take a little bit of work to dig out some of those really good jobs that you want. Like it took me about an hour and a half of trying different terms just to find a handful of freelance writing jobs that might pique my interest depending on the niche. But there's a variety of different ways you can search for it, so it is worth your time if you can find a good job. So when you're looking for a private client, don't discredit content mills and blogging sites like Vocal and Medium. Especially if you're new, it's going to take a little bit of time before you can start collecting some of those clients. And your off time is better spent by honing your skills on a content mill or with Vocal or Hub Pages, especially since these places pay you. And if you get quite a bit of content on something like Vocal and Medium and Hub Pages, you can probably generate almost a full-time income. So it doesn't hurt to keep yourself writing, even if you don't have a client. Personally, I focus more on my blogs, and then right now I'm in the middle of an experiment with Vocal, but I would much rather write for WriterSanctuary or Crossing Colorado. That's only because I know those websites pay me. They pay enough to pay for their hosting, with a dash extra on top. My point is to always keep yourself moving forward. Even after you emailed 100 people your cold email pitch, might as well throw in some time writing a blog post. Because you never know when you're going to write that one article that winds up going viral and bringing in quite a bit of money. So what's been your experience with private clients? Now, I know I've made quite a bit of money on TextBroker, and I do a lot of videos on it. It's been a great experience, but I make far more money with private clients. Content mills were just a way to get me going forward. Once I honed my skills and learned how to adapt to clients, everything else just fell into place. If you found the video informative, hit the like button. For more videos about freelance writing, WordPress, TextBroker, or anything else I cover, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I think that's going to do it for me today. I'll see you on Friday.